I'm Sandy O'Connor, and this is part 2 of learning how to improve your acting skills. I'm so happy to have Jeannie with us again, Jeannie Sanner, who directed the scenes that were presented at the Theater Guild meeting in June. And we really would like Jeannie to reflect on how she got her actors where they ended up, because the audience was mesmerized, they loved it, they didn't move, but they clapped loudly, and they also enjoyed it when it was funny, and when it was sweet, they reacted beautifully. So, bottom line, that was the success, but let's talk about how it got there.
Okay, well, first of all, they signed up for the class, which meant that they wanted to learn how to discover their characters, okay? And the key to my philosophy is the character has to come from the inside out, not from the outside in. So, and the emotion is the last thing. A lot of actors make the mistake of striving for the emotion. You know, they're going for the anger, or they're going for the laugh, or they're going, you know, right. And we don't go through life deciding, oh, I think I'll be angry now. Okay, so, you know, we don't do that. The anger comes from our perceptions and our beliefs and our fears of the moment. So whenever we perceive or believe that we are being threatened by something, then we're going to have fear, and that's going to be expressed in frustration or attack or retreat, or, you know, all the different layers that fear can express itself. And then there is love. That's the opposite of fear, obviously. And those are the two basic emotions from which all other emotions stem. So when we're trying to understand who this character is, and that's the key, we need to understand who they are, what they're thinking, what they're perceiving, what they're believing. And so we want to find out, first of all, from the author. And the author of Almost Maine spends a lot of time making sure that the actors and the directors know that these people are not dorky, and they're not to be caricatures, they're to be real people in rather unusual situations. But the emotional situation is real, is real life kinds of things. So, so one key way of finding out who your character is to explore what the author has given us about that character.
And you told your actors that?
Well, actually, I had them read a lot of the material that the author provided so that they would be aware. That wasn't coming from me, that was coming from the author, and I wanted them to be authentic. And that, yes, and I told them, I said, yes, your situations are unusual, but your characters need to be authentic. We also needed to understand the tone that the author was trying to create. So let me take scene 1, for instance, which was with Bear and Barbara. And when they first read the scene, they had interpreted it very differently than my vision of the scene, and they were taking a lot of things seriously, and Bear was interpreting a lot of what she was saying, his partner was saying, as rejection or whatever. And when I told them, I said, okay, what I see this bag representing is her heart, and it's a magnet. And every time you're near it, you're drawn to her. And there is this experience of love, and you don't understand it, and you don't know where it's coming from, and you're all surprised because you've never been like this before. But that magnet is drawing you together. Well, when they got that concept, it gives me chills, they brought that to life in an absolutely magnificent way.
Country that's a little closer to things, and this is the farthest north or east that I've ever been. And did you know that Maine is the only state in the country that's attached to just one other state?
Well, yeah, I mean...
It is, and it feels like the end of the world, and here I am at the end of the world, and I have no place to go. So I was just hoping that I could stay here tonight, unless, of course, it's not true. I mean, is it true?
Well,
because I'm where I need to be.
Well, okay, yeah.
So you see, this is the right place because your latitude is right, and the time is right, and the solar activity is at an 11-year peak, and you've got great sky. You've got lots of great sky for it.
Well, it used to be a farm.
Oh, I was going to say that there's no trees in the way, and then it's flat and makes for a really big sky. So you're a farmer?
No, it just used to be a farm. I'm a repairman.
And they also caused the audience to just be so, well, they did the awe. They did the awe.
Yeah.
And they also laughed a lot during the performance. See?
Yes.
And it was that wonderful sweet laughter about this is so wonderful kind of thing.
And it was a delightful love story.
It wasn't a yucky laugh, it was
Yeah.
this sweet laugh.
Yeah. And then the blocking makes a difference. The director is really responsible for how do we make this scene come to life. And again, with that particular scene, I loved the moment when she says she killed her husband, and then Bear starts backing up and backing up and backing up, and she's going forward. See, that makes it, and then he collapses in relief when he finds out that she didn't actually, kill him. So that was
the bus
good.
that did it, right?
And then at the end, when you were talking about the awe, it's when he pulls out the heart, and she is saying, "Goodbye, Wes. Hello, East."
Because his name was East.
Because his name
character.
was East. And then he's presenting the heart and the whole thing. Oh, it was gorgeous.
Goodbye, Wes. Hello, East.
But it took them to understand, in order to get where we were going, is that this is a delightful, romantic, falling in love, not with any rationale whatsoever, and love doesn't have a lot of rationale to it. It is an emotion. So we can use the author, we can use blocking, we can use what the characters say, and what they say about themselves, what they say about other people, and what other characters say about them. So the key is, what is the character perceiving and what do they believe? I have a formula. P plus B equals E equals A. And what that stands for is perceptions plus beliefs equals emotion. All emotion is a result of our perceptions and our beliefs. And then that equals action. So the action is a result of the perceptions and the beliefs, but the emotion has to come first because that's the fuel. If you don't have that emotion, have you ever been apathetic? What'd you do when you were apathetic?
Didn't care about anything.
Right, nothing. You did nothing.
And luckily that doesn't last
Have
too
very
long.
long.
But for some people it can last a long time.
Yeah, but the apathy is there. You don't do anything because you have no emotion. That's what the apathy is the lack of emotion. So it's perceptions plus beliefs will create the emotion. Don't try to create the emotion as an actor. Don't go there. Go see what the character is seeing and believe what the character is believing, and then you will experience it.
So there are a total of 3 scenes, and we've talked about scene 1. Now we're going to do scene 2. So tell again, how did you get to scene 2 people to where they needed to go?
Let's take the opening of scene 2. This is in a bar, and Mary is to come from, her character is to come from the ladies' room, and she's heading towards her bachelorette party, and all of a sudden she's called, her attention is called to a fellow that she used to date and sort of left unresolved, to say the least. Now, there were 2 things that were happening. It's been several months, obviously, since these 2 broke up, since John and Mary broke up. So John wanted to start off sort of being sad and sort of almost crying in his beer, but this has been months ago. So you're not sitting in the bar crying in your beer now. And since he had hurt his leg, then we added that he fell off a ladder.
Which was good.
Yeah. So since he had hurt his leg, he could be thinking about, well, who am I going to schedule to go do this heating thing and this heating thing over there? So that lifted him up to where he was not already down. He's going to go down. You see what I mean? So you've got to start someplace where you have some other place to go.
So you have contrast.
You've got contrast. You've got ups and downs and layers. Now with Mary, she was just sort of coming out of the bathroom and heading towards the thing. And I said to her, okay, now besides going to the bathroom when you go to the bathroom, what else do ladies do in the bathroom? Well, they put on lipstick and they comb their hair and they do all of that. So I had her coming out, blotting her lips, and also laughing. She's thinking of a joke that she just heard at the table, at the bachelorette table, and she hasn't stopped laughing about it yet. Now that brings her way up here so that when she turns around and sees the fellow that she has left, we now have a completely different layer and dimension to go to.
Here's the interesting part of that. The audience doesn't know that. I mean, they don't realize that. It just all blends together.
Yes, and again, to me, blocking is very important. What you're doing should be demonstrating what's going on in here.
Yes.
Acting to me is an external expression of the internal dialogue. Okay, so what's going on inside here, we have to get that out. And that's where the movement comes in. So, and then we had John moving around in the wheelchair, and when he finally realizes that it's a done deal, he's rolling real fast and yelling for the waitress. Yeah.
Right.
So that was a really good scene. And Mary did a beautiful job, and John responded very well when she said, you know, this is my bachelorette party, and then, you know, I'm getting married tomorrow, and I'm sorry I didn't tell you.
So what do you say? You want to come over for some fun?
No, Jimmy, I can't. I gotta get back with the girls.
Nah.
Yeah. Okay, gosh, I have been meaning to tell you this. There's a guy, Jimmy. I've got a guy.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Well, good for you, getting yourself out there again and
yeah,
moving on.
yeah. Well, it's a little more than getting myself out there and moving on. This is my bachelorette party. I'm getting married.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. I thought you said that wasn't something you wanted to do, get married. You told me that yourself. I guess it just wasn't for you with me. So who's the lucky guy?
Martin LaFerriere, you know him?
Yeah, the ranger over in Ashland.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
He's a legend.
yeah,
Legendary. I mean, if you're lost on a mountain in Maine, he's the guy you want looking for you.
yeah.
I mean, if you're lost out there in this big, bad northern Maine, you want Martin LaFerriere, the guy you want to have going out there and looking for you.
Yeah.
And he found you.
Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't tell you.
You know, I did not want her to be sad. This is also an opportunity for her and him to have closure so that she can start her new relationship and her new life with a clean slate. And it was something that had not been resolved. So she took the moment and made it real. So when she was listening to him at the table when he's talking about he's running his father's business and all of that and the fish died and everything like that, I wanted her to be interested in him because she cared about him. Not sitting there looking at her watch waiting for an opportunity to get away, but she had once, you know, cared
Really
about him
cared
a
about
lot.
him.
Yeah. So let's care now.
And we could
then-
tell that.
Good.
Oh, yes, we could definitely
see.
tell.
And that's the kind of thing you have to decide as a person. What is your motivation? What is your intention? And her intention was to let him know, I care about you, and I'm sorry it didn't work out, but it's okay. So now we can. And then he says at the end, and he says it, and again that gives me chills too. And he said, he wished her well. At that moment, and he's glad that she was found. That is a beautiful moment, and he grabbed that. He nailed that sensitivity and that sincerity.
When a guy's got a girl like you, I mean, losing a girl like you, driving a girl like you away,
Oh, Jimmy, you didn't drive me away.
it's plain criminal. It's criminal. It's villainy. And it should be punished. So I punished myself. I marked myself a villain so the girls would stay away. So I'd never have to go through what I went through with you again. Can I kiss you?
You can get that undone, you know.
Yeah.
I gotta go.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, sorry.
Sandrine, I'm glad you got found.
Thanks, Jimmy.
That was a very interesting dynamic because it's called Sad and Glad, and it's because it's up and down. But the ending was great when Lee comes in, and then her name
happens to be
is Villainy,
which has
Villian, Villian.
Which has a meaning in the scene.
Yes, and so Villian instead of Jillian, and so that was funny.
What can I do for you? What do you want? Another beer? Oh, well, remember, like I said, Moose Patty special. Drinks are free if you're sad. Okay, just tell me you're sad and you'll drink free. Just say the word. Let me know. Because I know from sad and you're looking pretty sad. Okay? Well, my name's Villian.
What?
Villian. Like Jillian, but with a V. I guess they misspoke my mother. They mistook my mother's J for a V. So, my name's Villian, if you need anything.
Villian.
Yeah?
Hi. I'm not sad, I just want another beer.
Okay.
Villian,
Yeah?
I'm glad you found me.
I'm glad you found me. That's adorable.
But what that did was end the scene with hope for him that he will not be alone forever. Okay?
Which was great.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the third scene.
Okay. The third scene is delightful. Charlie hasn't had a lot of experience, but he really nailed this character in that he was very relaxed. We got him relaxed and normal. Now, he hasn't had a lot of experience with doing blocking, so we had some interesting rehearsals with him. He would forget to come. This is where you sit. You stand behind the chair, the upstage of the chair here, and you sit on this line, and he's used to just wandering, and he's wandering over the stage, wandering around. Okay, and so I had to really help him understand what a difference the stage picture makes. I want him upstage of the chair, looking over her shoulder when she's looking at the picture, where he's standing. They're not always both standing. They're not always both sitting. They're not, this is very important to give the audience a lot of different pictures to see.
Exactly.
And energy to work off of and to absorb. Okay.
But as he said in part one of Artist Showcase about this, that he just never had the experience.
Right,
so
he hadn't had the experience.
He had to have somebody
show him.
And
then he
teach him.
finally got it. This one day he said, he said to me, have you ever played the guitar? And I said, no. And he says, well, when you're learning to play the guitar and sing a song, you learn the chords first and then you add the words. And I said, oh my God, you've got it. Okay, so we're gonna do the action. We're gonna get you comfortable with that movement. And besides that, it helps you learn your lines because you remember what you're saying. And he did that. He said, oh, I'm back here, so this is what I must say. Oh, hallelujah. Okay, so we got all of that together. And Annie just is totally delightful, and she just got into the, trick it, and trick it. So, and again, the blocking on that so that she has to sort of pretend and then turn around and trick the picture. And I loved it when she says, what was it when I whooped you. I whooped you.
That new sled of yours, you were just flying on that thing.
It's a Polaris, man.
You were really good. You whipped my butt.
No.
You really did.
That's what you get for driving an Arctic. Can't you get your butt whooped?
I know.
And I whooped it.
You did it. You whooped it. Yeah, I know. I'm not saying you didn't. You did.
She was so real with that.
I thought so. And I think here's a key issue, though, I think, for us and for you, that you, after doing this whole process, just totally enjoyed it.
Oh, I did. Oh, I was thrilled with them. I just, and I was happy for them, because what I really want is the audience comes first, but the actors come a very close second. I did not want them to be in a position where they were sorry they did something and they were embarrassed by it, or they didn't like what they did. I didn't want to put the audience through something that they're sitting there for 20 minutes and, oh my God, when it's not over yet. And my philosophy is that, the audience is giving us their greatest gift in the world, and that is their time. All that life is in this realm is time, and the audience could choose to go anywhere at any time. They've come to us, so we owe tremendous honor and respect to them for choosing to share their life with us. And I think that they grasped that, and they worked hard on their own. See, I tell them that about 85% of your success is the work you do outside of rehearsal. At rehearsal, we're talking about the characters, but we're also getting the blocking done. Then you got to go home and you got to put all that together.
Study your lines,
study the lines,
put it all together,
and do the blocking with your lines, either in your head or physically. If you're not visual, then you need to physically do that movement every time you're doing your scene. So they did the work. They did the homework.
And the result was the audience did get their reward of being the first, because they not only clapped loudly, but most of them stood up.
Yes, we did.
You had your standing ovation. So, I mean, that to me says, okay, you accomplished what you wanted to accomplish, which is that the audience was the first thing to consider.
Yeah.
And you know what?
What?
I thought this would be hard, but it's not at all. You know what? I feel like I want to do it for a long time, and then I want to do something else, but I don't know what it is.
I do. You want to know what comes next?
Yeah.
Well, come on in here and I'll show you.
Wait, hang on 1 second. How long is this going to take?
That could take all night, even longer.
We're working first shift tomorrow.
Yeah, who says?
You mean call in? Do you mean call in? You mean we're calling in? We're calling Chad? We're not going to work first shift or any shift tomorrow. Right.
My goal is to help educate people or explain things so that they can appreciate the art of acting better. They can really, and I've had people say, well, now I look at the blocking when I'm watching a play now, and I'm seeing where they enter and how they enter and where they're going and who's sitting and who's standing.
And it does matter.
Yes, it does. It does matter. And it gives them a completely different feel for the play, and they can get into the energy beautifully.
And the other thing is, the Academy, which is so wonderful, which will be again in the spring, will have a whole group of classes on every aspect of the theater.
Yes.
But if this inspired you to come and learn more about the acting side or any of the other things, this is hopefully what we're doing today, is inspiring you to do that.
Please consider taking some classes. It's really a lot of fun. I take it seriously, but that doesn't mean we can't have fun. And that's the balance.
I've been in them and they are fun.
Good.
Okay, now we're going to talk about the characters themselves and the people who performed those characters, Barbara Torino and Bear Sanchez. So Jeannie, tell us about that. Tell us about their characterization.
Well, one of the things that I loved is that they knew each other ahead of time, and they're very good friends. Trying to get people to be comfortable physically in a romantic relationship is not always easy if the actors have not known each other. And can they kiss and can they hug and can they, and they really were able to get into it, and the audience was very much, in fact, several people asked me, how'd you get them to kiss like that? When, well, actually, I didn't have to work hard at that. So I'll give them full credit. So the key to that scene, in my opinion, was how they related to each other physically, and that they were very comfortable with each other on stage. And that actually was very true of the last scene as well.
Yes.
Now, the tension in the second scene, destroyed any kind of level of comfort in being with each other. So you have to keep that in mind. But with the scene one, what I really loved was their ability to react to each other in a genuine and physical way, as well as an emotional way.
Good. And then in scene 2, we have Mary Zolli and John Kelsel. So tell us a little bit about that characterization.
And what we had to do there was create the balance between caring about you but not loving you anymore, or having to deal with the truth of the separation and what you're doing with your life. And the other thing that I wanted to work with John on, and he got there, it took a little while, but he wanted to say nice things about the person that Mary was going to marry. Mm-hmm. Okay, but in real life, he knows who this person is, and if you want to get saved on the mountain, then you call on, you see what I mean? And so then he sees himself as this person who's doing, air conditioning compared to this, hero that everybody loves.
Mountains or whatever.
So there had to be some resentment. There had to be, of all the people, did he have to find you? Couldn't somebody else have found you? So we needed that kind of tension in there as well, so that when he says at the end, I'm glad he found you, there has been an evolution, a growth. See, characters do one of two things, okay? There is character development and character revelation. Character development means that the character is a different person at the end of the play than they were at the beginning of the play. But character revelation is when the character is the same at the end. They've just been revealed. You've just found out more and more and more about them, but they didn't go through anything that made them change. They may have been the catalyst for somebody else to change, but they were the same all the way through. So character development or character revelation, and that's one of the things that we have to discuss when we're looking at who are we? Do we change? Are we a different person at the end? And if so, what changed us? What did somebody say or do, or what did I suddenly come to be aware of? That I didn't know before, or I didn't feel before, or I didn't experience before, that made me different at the end than I was at the beginning.
And then the final scene 3, which I'm so anxious to hear about this, but we also had Charlie, who hadn't done much. So this is what to me was maybe one of the more interesting growth.
Yes, it was very interesting to watch Charlie learn the value of blocking. That you don't just wander around the stage and do whatever you feel like at the moment, because you might feel doing this one, but the next rehearsal you're over here because you've wandered over here, and of course the person that you're working off of is used to you being over there, and now you're over here. So you see, the blocking also creates a sense of stability for the cast, that they don't have to worry about thinking about where's the person going to be and what are they going to be doing. They know on one level as the actor what the other actors are going to be doing. As the character, they just have to respond to what they're given. But I think that was the biggest growth. And Annie, I just love Annie because she always asks questions. Well, what about this or what about that? And then by her being alert and wanting to know what's happening and why, then that gives me a chance to share. No two people are going to see everything the same. So as a director, what I do, if somebody is not comfortable, so I will be asking them a lot, are you comfortable? Is everything, because as an actor, I want to be comfortable on stage. If they're not, what it means is they're interpreting that moment differently than I am. So now my job is just to share with them how I see this moment and how can we create that moment. Now, sometimes they can create the result that I'm looking for by doing it a little bit differently, and I give them that latitude. I want the actor to feel as if they own the character. That's extremely important, that you own the character as an actor.
I just want to encourage everybody again to take a look at the Academy and the series of classes that are available, so that if you want to work backstage or you want to to be in the
Costumes.
costumes or makeup,
Makeup.
or the technical
The
side.
technical side.
And we've got these wonderful teachers that you've gathered together to do all that. And we did get some new people in it this year because we talked it up. We did
Good,
to some
good.
of these newer people, and they were so happy that they joined.
Yeah,
you know.
good.
So-
and I'm happy they did too.
Yes. Because why do the academy if they
They
don't show up?
up.
So thanks, Jeannie. It's been a joy to do this.
And thank you for letting me share. I appreciate it. God bless you.
You too.